Hey folks, Breath of the Wild has provided me with many great Whoa, what's this? A non-Tears of the Kingdom video? The first in 10 videos on the channel since the recent trailer. Wow. Anyway, Breath of the Wild has provided me with many great memories. Exploring Hyrule for the first time, hearing full-on voice acting in a Zelda game for the first time, and many other fun times. However, it did have a few bad times, but one in particular takes the absolute cake in terms of bad experiences. Bad memories that will live in my mind forever. Something so bad that it almost made me quit. Yeah, not Thunderblight Ganon, not the Korok Seeds, not weapons breaking, and not even Thunderblight Part 2, but one particular shrine. That's right, a Sheikah shrine. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you the story of my worst experience in Breath of the Wild. But first, and honestly, me too, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. And also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. It was sometime in 2017, my first playthrough of this wonderful game. I had been having a blast, making some of my first videos on the game, learning my craft as a content creator, but just generally enjoying a new Zelda game for the first time since 2011, 6 years and 2 consoles ago. It was amazing. That was until I found this one particular shrine, the Keo Rook Shrine. Fateful Stars. If you've taken on every shrine in this game, then you'll remember this one for sure. What a goddamn pain in the this was. At this point in my playthrough, I was still very much of the opinion that shrines were all super cool, very unique, and great for lore building, which they totally are, but this shrine changed my view forever. Now, for those that didn't struggle with this shrine, you'll probably end up thinking, what an idiot. And yeah, looking back to some degree, I agree. But my god, this shrine is not easy unless you think a certain way, and I know lots of you agree with me and struggled with this. So, how this shrine works is by looking at the constellations up here on the wall. And I'm going to note this now, and it will make sense in a minute. Not the sky. Then, counting how much of each individual one there is, and placing an orb as a marker at the number of how many you saw. Retrospectively, that seems simple. But my god, this was one of the most insanely difficult, or more so frustrating shrines to complete. It's a cool puzzle, but the main reason I personally didn't understand it one bit is because the shrines all feature constellations in their general designs. You can find them in Sheikah tech/architecture in general, so it just confused me once here. The little stone advice just confused me further as well. It tells you to look to the stars, so my smart brainy self looks to what I'd consider the stars, straight up. Not the design seen in many shrines, which is exactly what these look like. I think I may have even considered it meaning the stars outside of the shrine. Now, I know for a fact that I am not the only one who struggled and had to look up how to do this shrine. I know I am not alone in this. I'm not crazy. This shrine was for some reason very difficult for tons of players. It's just too cryptic in a way, so much so that it near made me quit. Now, getting to that part of that was my own fault, depending on how you look at it. Back then, I prided myself on never using a guide, not getting any help, and simply doing the game all by myself. You know, big old Zelda tuber and whatnot. I think my dad was the same back in the day, so I'm guessing I had that attitude from him. So naturally, I wanted to complete the shrine with no help. But that was a poor decision. This nightmare of a cryptic shrine broke me. It's just so confusing and mindfuck because it's so different to every other shrine. It's almost like a subtly hidden puzzle. It really does take a certain way of thinking to get this first time. I mean, the way I saw it was similar to the twin shrines, ones where you had to exit and re-enter with external information in order to complete. Looking to the stars outside would make sense as many shrines have constellations already, not just this one. I mean, it is fairly highlighted, but still, it's so confusing. For context, it was probably 3 AM whilst I was playing, or it was 3 PM and I'd been up since 3 AM, but still. I tried many different tactics and eventually just started taking guess after guess for so damn long. And that's kind of what I meant by it's my own fault in a way. I prided myself too much on not getting any help, but to no success. I am not normally one to get so angry at a game that I want to just quit. A small break maybe, but even after little breaks, I just still couldn't get this. So I got so frustrated that rather than quitting, not just the shrine, but Breath of the Wild, I instead walked out of the shrine, never to return. Well, I tell a lie. I did eventually return at some point further down the line, but one thing had changed. I had gotten over my pride of not using a guide and bit the bullet. I looked up how to do the shrine, and I'll be honest, it was simple. I still didn't get it. I won't lie, even when watching a tutorial, I was still baffled to the witchcraft I was seeing. So yeah, this goddamn shrine was the closest I've ever been to quitting a game. Now I'm sure I probably would have picked it back up, but my god, this shrine was a nightmare. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no. There is more. 5 years later, that is. Yeah, earlier this year, 5 years on from 2017, I was playing Breath of the Wild again, but for my partner this time, Merlin, on one of their playthroughs. I, at some point, got to this shrine, and man, the flashbacks were crazy. I was instantly thinking back to the just told story, and getting a cold sweat down my neck. But I was in front of my partner. I wasn't gonna back down this time, despite having still not understood the shrine last time out, even with watching a tutorial. I was determined to do it, and what would you know? It actually clicked, and I bossed it. Thank you. I'm sure you're all very proud of me, but you shouldn't be, because I'm a dirty liar. A more accurate telling of how it went is me trying for at best 5 minutes, and then looking it up. Some things never change, but at least this time it didn't bring me close to quitting. Oh, and I actually do understand it now. That's how I learned how this puzzle actually works, 5 years on. My god. That is my story on the worst experience I ever had in Breath of the Wild. I honestly made this video for a few different reasons. One, I was recently reminded of the original experience, thanks to the recent one. But also two, because I wanted to take a bash at storytelling videos, and maybe I'll try another if you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know, as well as let me know what your worst experience was in Breath of the Wild. Maybe I could make a video going over Can't speak. Maybe I could make a video going over all of those. That'd be pretty fun. Anyway, I've got to get back to the grind as we wait for our next piece of news on Tears of the Kingdom. The Game Awards in December would be a brilliant time, and a decent gap between the latest trailer, without it feeling like a huge gap. But we'll see. For now, I'm going to continue to speculate and make fun videos on the game, as well as videos like this. I am buzzing for the game itself to release though. I can't say that enough. Be sure to drop a like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. Both would make my day. Follow my socials linked below to keep up to date, and as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Thanks a ton. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.